Good day, everyone. I'm Ethan, moderator for this webinar. Welcome everyone for today's webinar, What You Need to Know About Fair Housing 2023. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Ann Sadowski. Ann Sadowski has been in the apartment industry for 5 decades. I would now like to hand over the one of the best speaker of our state. Over to you, Ann.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. Let me start. I love that introduction. It sounds like my mother wrote it. So I want to say welcome to all of you. Fair housing is a passion of mine. I started teaching in 1988 when the last protected classes were added. As you probably well know, it is very hard to keep up today, to know what's happening, what to do, how to deal with. Here are the things that we are dealing with most: smoking and smells, cigarettes, pipes, marijuana. The neighbor is allergic. It's creeping into their child, sleeping baby's bedroom, the smell of smoke, etc. ESAs and Service Animals, the questions I get are astonishing, and I see what you all are going through every day. How many can we have? How many can the person have? What kind can they have? What about neighbor complaints? Oh my gosh, I'm allergic to dogs, and you move somebody next door to me with an emotional support animal or a service dog. So what can we ask? Can a parrot or a lizard or a duck or a pig be an ESA? And we're going to talk about that today. Is there housing for people who want to live away from children? One of the latest rulings going on, and we're dealing with a lot with violence against women. So these rulings were added in 2016. These things as well. We get confused about occupancy standards. So the federally protected classes, race, color, national origin, and religion became the first fair housing protected classes. We're going to talk about religion, and I'm going to say to you many times during this class, your words matter. So big mistakes, your personal opinion about race, color, national origin, LGBTQ, criminal background, your personal opinion is not relevant. It's an acronym, and most of you are fully aware: lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, queer, or questioning. The L stands for lesbian, and that is a woman who is attracted to other women. Gay typically is a man who is primarily attracted to men. B is bisexual, and that's an individual who is attracted to both people of their own gender and the opposite gender. Now let's talk about violence and discrimination against women. So there are a lot of kinds of harassment, and this gives you a little bit of an overview. Let's talk about family or familial status and occupancy standards. Finally going to jump into that. So let's talk about occupancy standards. I'm going to give you some best practices on occupancy. Then comes again this question: is there housing for people who want to live away from children? So let's talk quickly about hoarding, because I'm trying to cover everything in the world today. Let's talk about disabilities and what that means. A physical or mental disability that substantially limits one or more major life activities. It is a service dog. The only exception would be a miniature horse, and that is very, very rare. So HUD says if the answer to those questions is yes, it is for a person with a disability, and this dog serves a purpose for this person, for their disability, then you don't ask anymore. Now, if your property is in a city or a county or a state, well, not a state typically, that prohibits pit bulls, for a long time we fought the battle of these internet ordered, these little cards. They come in so proud of them, said United States Service Dog Registry. There's no such thing. Hot news, just because I thought it was fun, in December of 2020, HUD, February of 2020, stepped up and said these can be emotional support animals. It does not have to be a dog or a cat. It can be a duck, a turtle, a fish, a rabbit, a small reptile. Remember, okay, they are not a pet. Parking again becomes a problem. The higher your occupancy, the fewer parking spaces available. We get a lot of complaints about it. What if another handicapped person parks in a space that belongs to a handicapped resident. There's no such thing as a reserved handicapped space. Let's talk quickly about criminal background checks, kind of what you can and what you can't do. This is under deep inspection and oversight by the government today. So why do we have this ruling on criminal background checks? So here's a sample script. Do not use this because Ann said so, but it's a guideline. Complaints about cigars, pipes, what's the future look like? In 2020, HUD passed a legislation that would decriminalize marijuana and expunge nonviolent marijuana-related convictions. What does that mean? Lots going on with that. But in 21, New York became the 16th state to legalize marijuana. Quick map so you can see if your state what they're doing with marijuana. I want to talk quickly about senior housing and the aging population in America. Community policies, be very clear up front. Please remember, as I've rushed you through this class, that you can require that applicants meet your financial criteria. So even with all these things we've just talked about, everybody needs to be able to pay their rent. You have the right to enforce that. Understand your documents. In most states, you can require proof of income. Find out if that's so in your state. Know what applies to your property in your city and in your state. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for attending, and we will see you next time.
So thank you everyone for participating, and thank you Anne for the wonderful webinar in a very short time. And that is it for today. You all may disconnect now. You all have a great day ahead. Bye-bye. Take care.